Alrighty, welcome everybody to round two. We've got Earth's Overseer at the bottom of your screen. We've got Phoenix up at the top. And let's get started. So, Overloader combo, for those of you who don't know, assemble the combo, get Overloader, find machinations, make 1,000,000,000 power, and basically throw a bunch of damage at your opponent's face. There's not much you can do about it. That's about it. That's the extent of it. Try not to take a bunch of damage early because you got to pay life to do the combo. They, nerfed that from 1 damage up to 2 damage, so it's a little more expensive to do it now from a life total perspective. But there's not really ways to interact with it other than just damaging your opponent's face. So Phoenix isn't going to be able to play a long, grindy game here. Basically, going to have to try to use instant speed removal and try to catch Earth's Overseer off guard, or try to put a lot of early damage to the face. Those are basically the only two paths.
Well, I mean, they do have exploit, so exploit can be a problem for the combo for sure. It's just when is that deployed is kind of the key. Probably want to wait right before turn 6, provided Earth's Overseer has fire influence, which they don't have at this point.
We're going to see exploit here. You take the overloader, so you're right. Exploit is a way to deal with it. I wouldn't say that traditionally exploit has been super strong. Like, not the combo decks have been able to get around exploit, I should say, in the past. It's not like it's a instant win. It's not like it really disrupts them that much. But here you can see it did take out that 1 copy of Overloader that Earth's Overseer had here. And Earth's Overseer had the other pieces, had the machinations, the hardiness to go off quicker. No fire power though, notably. So not that Earth's Overseer could have gone off anyway.
Right?
But hey, this is a start. Phoenix doing a little bit of disruption and then also backing it up with a little bit of pressure. I could see Phoenix pulling this out with the start of this one.
And I mean, now that they have a Sandstorm Titan on board, which that can be great. Um, Earth's Overseer does have one unstable form to kind of deal with some of those sorts of issues, but I'm not sure that going up to a 5 cost unit is better than a 4 cost 5/6 to deal with. I don't know.
Well, thankfully, Earth's Overseer was able to find that seat of chaos, so that does give fire influence. One of the things, if you're not familiar with the Overloader deck, that you need to practice is the influence requirements are real. You need triple shadow for machinations, and you need fire for the Overloader, and then depending on what your payoff card is, you may or may not need a second fire, and then you also need primal for sort of your card draw and other pieces. So it is pretty demanding from the influence, and sometimes that can trip you up. You can see explosion here, pyrotech explosion requiring double fire, as I mentioned there. Javin the Steel Crest here, another pretty good unit for Phoenix.
I mean, if Overseer can find an Overloader, it might be okay.
Yep. But gonna have to find it fast because this Mandevilla is gonna take care of the blocker, and Phoenix is gonna hit for 7 here. And that's gonna put Earth's Overseer down to only 12 health, and he's gonna have to do it this turn because next turn they're not gonna have enough life.
Didn't seem to work this time.
Nope, not quite. Gonna go for a value machinations here. And it's not really going to do much here. They're going to get another sigil, but I don't think there's really enough life, even with the hardiness, to generate enough power. And exploit's going to take care of it anyway. So Phoenix is going to pull out this game 1. I mean, that kind of worked exactly how the Xena deck needs it to work, right? Disruption, your opponent stumbling, and putting pressure on. Those are like the trifecta of ways to beat combo. But normally it doesn't look as normally it's not as easy as it looked here.
Yeah, I would not have taken the strategize though. I think hardiness is really what you wanted to hit with that exploit. I think.
Well, at least Earth's Overseer going out in style there, pyrotech explosioning themselves there. You gotta love to see it. If you gotta go down, that's the way to do it.
Might as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess in this matchup here, it was just getting some smaller units on board, and disruption was what kind of impacted, Earth's Overseer's game plan there. So exploit and getting your sandstorm tightened down to start punching face, that was helpful for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting, and the crazy thing is that was pretty dominated that whole game there from Phoenix, but it's also interesting because there were still times where Earth's Overseer could have potentially drawn the right series of cards there and still just won on the spot. So you're never quite fully out of it in the combo stand. They can kind of kill you from anywhere, so you always got to be careful
Right.
for that, and that's why that clock is really important. You got to really push it to end the game as soon as possible so they don't get any outs. All right.
Yeah,
Game two here. Phoenix up one game. Phoenix from Team Invoke Lethal, one of the newer teams on the block, but has put up good results so far in their first full year. All right, Earth's Overseer, 3 power, Bottled Insight, Overloader, Hardiness, Strategize.
I mean, it seems okay to me, but if you can dig for machinations, or, and then the pyrotech or detonation cannon. So I
Gonna be on the
think,
draw here, so Phoenix gonna start things off with the Xenon Blueprints. With all the removal that Phoenix has, it's interesting. You want to really protect your overloader till you're ready to go off, but then you also leave it open to exploit, so it is a little interesting. Start things off with a Grenahan. A miss. But that's all right. I mean, you don't want to miss off your Grenahans, but it happens, and you still got your blocker out there to protect your life total a little bit. The file's going to take that out, but Phoenix does have Banish and then Exploit in hand here. So presumably that Overloader is going to be gone next turn. And the other thing that's interesting about this deck, that's a little bit different than maybe this deck was before, is prior to this, the Overloader combo deck had a lot more protection. Back in the other formats when they had transpose and they had counter spells and they had ways to protect the combo, it was really, really hard to disrupt. Now, you can still combo off, but it's a little more fragile, right? There's not really a way to
yeah,
protect your hand or protect your units as well as you could before.
yeah. I mean, I think that is definitely one of the reasons it's much harder. I mean, they're not playing any sort of negate options that would kind of protect you. No face aegis, um, no other sorts of things. So, but a muck here is pretty good but it gets answered with a permafrost, so that's sweet too.
Phoenix really holding on to that exploit. One reason that sometimes you hold on to your exploits is you wait until the optimal turn, right? You don't want to give your opponent a chance to draw out of it or to go find a card that they need. So you sort of wait until turn 4, turn 5, when your opponent's about to go off and say, okay, well, now I'm going to exploit. Now I'm going to take a look at your hand. Because if you exploit, turn 2, you take the Overloader, then Earth's Overseer can say, okay, well, I know what I need to find. I'm going to go find another Overloader now. But you wait till this turn, and all of a sudden Earth's Overseer now can't go off on turn 5, so they have to now look for it. And you're never really looking for a backup piece. So that could be one of the reasons why Phoenix waited. Also, luckily for Phoenix, there were other good uses of their power so far the entire game, so they were able to play other things. Didn't hold on to the exploit when they had something better to do.
Yeah, and I think plundering was a really good idea because their hand was not great. They just had power and a banish. So now at least you've dug into a Mandevilla, which it's gonna be a 5/5.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
mean,
really have a
Phoenix is
target
doing
for it.
everything exactly the way that Phoenix needs to do, and the deck can be fragile. As Cassandra says in chat, the deck can definitely be fragile. Um, Sometimes it misses, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. But you have to end it before they draw out of it is the key. So we'll have to see if Phoenix can keep that pressure on and end this game before Earth's Overseer is to just, cobble together the pieces and cheese out a win. They also have that banish that Phoenix is going to be able to keep up pretty much the rest of the game if they want to, if they're ever afraid of another overloader coming down. But Impending Doom was perfect draw for Phoenix to really amp up that pressure even more.
And Earth's Overseer is kind of stuck on power too. I mean, they're on
Yeah.
4 power. I mean, they can't. I think they prefer to be, have more, honestly, just to
Yeah.
get things done.
I mean, they do have the 2 hardinesses, but yeah, you definitely want more power. And just playing out the Mandeville as a 5/5 lifesteal, I mean, hey, that works.
This is not looking good though for the
It
combo.
is not, and as Ace says in chat, Earth's Overseer played solitaire and lost. Sometimes you just can't win,
You
and
do.
yeah, sometimes that happens, and we're seeing here again. Earth's Overseer is just not taking the pieces of the deck they need, and now going down to 7 health here is going to make it even tougher. Although they do have the 2 hardinesses, but yeah, not looking good for Earth's Overseer, especially with that banish in hand for Phoenix. But Phoenix may play out the Doom because all those Molder Mucks are essentially useless attackers here. So really, Phoenix only has 2 attack coming through. So that's without playing the Impending Doom is interesting there because that's actually a 4-turn clock as it sits right now, if I'm counting things right.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Granahan gonna. That's the other retooth too. Granahan can just block that Vine Grafter all day.
I mean, I don't think you worry about it, right? The Grenahan. I think you just next turn play your Doom. Don't even
Oh yeah,
bother
I wouldn't.
banishing it
I
because you
wouldn't
want to.
remove it. I would just play the Doom.
Although I guess maybe they're wanting to have 7 power so that they can keep banish up.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just too. You're not putting any pressure now at this point. I feel like you got to take a turn off to just get a threat down. But no, they're gonna keep banish up again, really protecting against the combo here, which is funny because it's keeping Phoenix alive, but it's also keeping Earth's Overseer alive.
Yeah. Like, so even if they did play it, I don't understand the power as well as, anybody probably else does. But like, if you do have your overloader on board and then you're just amplifying, you're gonna you as Earth's Overseer are the time to, you're gonna have the window to react to the banish to just get a whole lot more power.
Yeah,
So
and
even if he
actually we see
plays it
that
now,
here. And I don't know if it's gonna be enough though. I don't know the math. If you overloader and then you play a hardiness and then you respond to the banish with a second hardiness, I'm not sure. Can you just
yeah, you just get more power. So the power happens. They'll banish. They'll hardiness again. Then probably doesn't. They just pyrotech the face, right?
I think so. 18, I believe,
Or
is enough.
yep.
Yeah.
See,
Hmm.
banish didn't matter. So not that
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
not.
know that it would have, even
Yeah,
if
I
they
don't
had
like
put
second
played
guessing
Doom.
players. I'm not bad talking Phoenix. I don't want to second guess players, but I
Right.
don't understand that either. I think in that situation, I think you need to play out the threat. Like even if the Grenahan didn't hit the board, that was a 4-turn clock if you held that up without playing it from the Vine Grafter. I really think you needed to play out the threat, take 1 turn with shields down in order to end the game because they're just you didn't have enough pressure on board to end the game without it. So I think I would have done that differently. But I mean, hindsight's 2020, but we saw that there without the pressure. It just gave Earth's Overseer enough of a window to draw the pieces they needed to win.
Yeah. I mean, I am not an expert on overloader combo, but I have been tutored by by Earth's Overseer on how to play it and how to work it. And yeah, so it's not an easy deck to face, really. I mean, because it can just come out of nowhere and just win the game like it just did.
Did. All right. Well, let's get down for game 3 here. All right. Welcome to game 3 of round 2. Both players took a redraw. Earth's Overseer is going to keep with Overloader, Strategize, Bottled Insight, Permafrost, no Fire Influence, notably. Phoenix has 2 copies of Exploit and 2 copies of Banish, though. So those exploits, unlike last game, I think we are going to see one of those exploits here in turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, exploits the way you're going to win this match, I think. If you
No
get
undepleted
Overloader,
power, so I guess eating my words here, not on turn 2, but it also is going to have that bonus effect of being able to plunder and get a 3rd power. So an Overloader is going to be gone, and a 3rd power going to be set up here for Phoenix.
I think you just plunder Azadel, right? I mean, maybe I guess you do Mandevella.
Yeah.
Because maybe Azendel survives and plays Overloader off of Earth's
The
Overseer's
other thing
deck.
is, I don't know how much you care about the double shadow, but if you Azadel and hit time, then you can't play your Impending Doom. But you need
That's
another power
right.
for Impending Doom anyway, so maybe that's not really a consideration, but it's a variable at least. I think you probably do Mandevella, or maybe
Yeah.
even one of the banishes. Your third copy of Banish has got to be worse than Azendel, right?
I mean, if you do, like you said, if you do Mandevella, you would
All right, so
definitely get
went
your
with one of the
second
banishes and
shadow.
did hit time, so we'll see if that punishes or not. Rune of Illusion there. That'll work. That'll be pretty much exactly what Phoenix needed. 4th power and Shadow Influence to get that Impending Doom down. Earth's Overseer missing I'm sorry, does have the Overloader, got the painting to get the fire. So interestingly, so Phoenix did not take the Overloader. I wonder because there wasn't fire influence in Earth Overseer's hand, but didn't take the Overloader.
Yeah, they did that before, right? They took the strategize over a piece of the combo. So maybe just taking the time
This
to.
game, right? Is this not game? Oh no, it's not. Needed one more turn. I'm sorry, because needed to play
Yeah.
the Overloader and the Machination, so needed 7 power. I'm sorry. I miscounted by 1, but
uh,
this will be
uh
game though.
missed opportunity there with your exploit, that's for sure. And
Mm.
it's rough, but it's that's what's amazing about the combo.
Yep.
Just got to pick the pieces apart.
Here we go, and that's gonna be it. That's gonna be enough
Boom.
damage, and Earth's Overseer somehow